Hello, one and all. Welcome. So I've been working on Monstrous Heroes for quite some time now, and I'm getting closer and closer to wrapping it up. It's a big 5th edition book that has a bunch of new classes in it, classes that are all inspired by monsters. And this process has been a big learning experience for me. And it's also made me reflect back upon my previous book, Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. Still got some of these babies left in hardcover, by the way, if you are interested. So in this book, I created my first 5th edition class ever, the Paragon. In fact, after you get through the introduction, prelude part of this, the very first section in here is devoted to the Paragon class. It's a big one. So what is the Paragon? Well, I'm going to get into that here shortly, but there's a couple things I thought would be interesting to walk through first. Creating an entire class is a really big undertaking, especially if it's a deep class or a complex class to any degree. There's so much that goes into it. There's so many revisions that it has to go through, and hopefully you play test it. I've been doing that for quite some time now, and I can tell you the playtesting is essential. You will catch things over and over again. You will catch things that are not working properly or could be done better, or that are confusing, or that are too strong or are not strong enough. It's really important. So if you ever make a class and you want to actually do something with it, implement it into a campaign of yours or something, make sure you play test it, ideally with other people as well. So really, the Paragon is the first major chapter after you get through all the introductory stuff, which the introductory stuff is worth reading as well. The Paragon actually went through 6 major revisions, and within each of those revisions were, of course, all kinds of little small edits and improvements. 6 times I iterated this class, and it took, oh my gosh, probably a couple years. Of course, it's not totally perfect. No class is. The official D&D classes are not perfect. The idea is not to achieve perfect. The idea is to achieve great. Something that is really good and interesting to play and to engage with. So I very much like the book series A Song of Ice and Fire. And I also enjoyed the first few seasons of the Game of Thrones TV series immensely. Seasons 1 through 3 I loved. I thought they were amazing. Season 4 I thought was pretty good. And then, well, you know what happens from there. And I was thinking to myself once, what class is Tyrion Lannister? You want to say rogue, right? Because he certainly is a rogue in a general sense. He's roguish, he's a scoundrel. But he doesn't really do most of the things that a D&D rogue does. D&D rogues are very fast and very dexterous. Well, that's not Tyrion. He has great physical limitations due to dwarfism. So he's not using cunning action, let's say. And of course, the main rogue ability, sneak attack, is also not something that Tyrion does. He's not really a warrior combat type character. And though he has a lot of physical limitations, his mind is exceptional. So in D&D terms, we could say that he has a high intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. So what class does that translate to? It's kind of like a bard in the sense that he influences people and he has a lot of knowledge and lore, bards being this archetypal lore keeper, but he doesn't wield magic. Bards are mages. And that made me think then, well, what D&D class is Daenerys Targaryen? She also is not a warrior, not at all. You don't ever see her wielding weapons and wearing armor and fighting in battle, so she's not any of the warrior type classes. She has a sort of innate magic to her, or maybe something supernatural or mystical about her, but she doesn't cast any spells. She's not a mage or a cleric or anything. I mean, some people might say she's a sorceress, and I think that does kind of fit, but again, no spells. And she always has somebody with her there who is her defender. She has Khal Drogo, and then she has Ser Jorah Mormont, and then she has her dragons, and she has Grey Worm. She always has these loyal companions with her that protect her, that keep her safe, that do fighting, that do her bidding, essentially. But there's something special about her. There's something about these characters, some quality. It's like they are fated. Fated souls. Fated soul. And they kind of embody certain qualities. So this line of thought is what led me to create the Paragon. I wanted to create something that was a class that was not a spellcaster. You could get access to some innate spells if you chose those options, but in and of itself, at the core, it's not a spellcaster class. And you could rely upon influence and strategy and special skills, Or you could have more combat-based things. It eventually developed into a pretty robust and versatile class, the Paragon. I will read here just a bit. Paragons are fated souls, individuals whose destinies line the pages of history and myth. They are persons of influence and resourcefulness, of craft and extraordinary talent. Some paragons have divine blood in their veins. Others are born under auspicious stars, and others still have come upon their power through mystical guides or treks to wondrous locations. In many ways, paragons embody the essence of certain qualities. Hero paragons are bravery, strength, and glory incarnate. Trickster paragons are embodiments of guile, theatrics, and mischief. Sovereign paragons are nobleness, authority, and influence manifest. While each individual paragon is versatile enough to pursue various goals, these core attributes are ever present. So I'll walk through some more of the Paragon class features here to give you a good sampling of things, give you a good idea of what this is. Again, there's a link down in the video description if you're interested in getting a copy of Esper's Emporium of Esoterica for yourself. The class has a D8 hit die. It's proficient with light and medium armor as well as shields, all simple weapons, and one martial weapon of your choice. The saving throw proficiencies are Wisdom and Charisma. As well, you get one proficient Charisma-based skill and two other skill proficiencies of your choice. There are some Paragon features or Paragon options that do provide you spells. They're considered innate spells. They're actually divine innate spells. Maybe you got them from a god. Maybe you got them from some other special source. It's sort of like the Divine Soul Sorcerer in a way. It's kind of along that vein. You're a charisma-based spellcaster when you have some spells, but they're all innate spells. You don't ever get spell slots with this class. A key feature you get at first level is called Hand of Fate, and that allows you to gain advantage on a d20 roll when you are in a situation of combat or immediate danger. Fate is guiding you. It's a once per short rest feature, and there are other Paragon features that key off of it or enhance it. Also starting at first level is a feature called Serendipitous Encounter. And this comes from the hero's journey, the archetype of some sort of guide or wise man or seeress or even a ghost or a spirit, someone who comes to the character at certain key moments and provides assistance. You can use Serendipitous Encounter just once per Paragon level. Use it during a rest and the GM will roleplay the NPC as needed. And the NPC provides something helpful to you. Maybe some information that's going to help you get through a current situation. Maybe a helpful item. Maybe cast a spell. Maybe make a skill check of some sort. There are some guidelines so the GM can know kind of the parameters of how much help the Serendipitous Encounter NPC can provide. At second level, you get a feature called Well-Rounded. This allows you to increase an ability score by 2 or 2 different ability scores by 1. However, unlike regular ability score enhancements, this cannot bring any ability score higher than a 14, nor can you use it to gain a feat. It's there to represent how Paragons are persons of diverse abilities. And also at second level, you get Wondercraft. The Paragon Wonders are a major feature of this class. Wonders are part extraordinary skill and part supernatural gift. There are all kinds of different wonders. There's actually 13 pages of different wonders in this Paragon section, and each one has certain prerequisites. You have to be a certain level of Paragon, and sometimes you have to have other prerequisites as well. And the wonders have all kinds of different effects. They can help you in combat, they can help you in utility or exploration or interactions. It's a very customizable class, and a class that was built to have a very high replay value. You start off knowing 2 wonders, you gain an additional wonder at 3rd level, and every other level from there, 5th, 7th, 9th, etc. At 3rd level, you gain expertise with a couple skills. At 4th level, you get ability score increase, much like what we know from typical 5th edition classes. At 5th level, you gain extra attack. At 6th level, you gain a feature called Mythic Weapon. When you have your Serendipitous Encounter at that level, the NPC presents to you a magic weapon or imbues one of your weapons with magic. It gives a couple different options of some special effects, a glowing effect, a guiding effect, or a muting kind of shape-shifting effect to the weapon. At 13th level, you gain Improved Aid, which makes the serendipitous encounter NPCs' skills and spellcasting abilities better. At 18th level, you get Paragon Grandeur, and whenever you use Hand of Fate, you actually roll one additional d20 and you pick which one is the best out of the three. The 20th level capstone feature, I really tried to make this one worthy of an epic capstone. It is called Demigod. You can choose 3 from the following options. 2 of your ability scores increase by 2 each, and the maximum for those scores becomes 24. You can use Hand of Fate an additional time per short rest. Once per long rest, you can perform a miracle, casting one of the following spells: Death Ward, Gesh, or Hero's Feast. Your serendipitous encounter NPC appears and presents you with an incredible gift, a very rare magic item. Or you have advantage on saving throws against all spells and other magical effects. Furthermore, at the moment of choosing, your spirit departs from the world. You leave the material plane and you pass on. You choose one of the following. Your soul arrives directly at the realm of the gods you serve and you become one of the gods' exarchs. Or your soul ascends to the skies, to the astral plane essentially, and becomes a star constellation, and people look to it to perform auguries and other divinations. Or your soul enters your most prized possession and becomes a sentient artifact. So those are the sorts of things that can really help with the world building and carry over to influence a further campaign or enhance the GM's world. It's things like that that really tie things together better and enrich the storytelling. There are 3 different subclasses in here: the myth of the hero, the myth of the trickster, and the myth of the sovereign. You choose your Paragon myth just right at first level, and you get additional myth features at levels 3, 8, 10, and 14. The myth of the hero is definitely the most warrior-like. You get enhanced abilities with weapons and armor, and whenever you use Hand of Fate, you gain temporary hit points. At 3rd level, you gain proficiency with Constitution saving throws, and whenever you succeed on a Constitution save for only half damage, you take no damage instead. Furthermore, you gain a bonus wonder. At 8th level, your serendipitous encounter NPC enhances your mythic weapon even more. At 10th level, you gain Hand of Destruction whenever you use Hand of Fate to gain advantage on an attack roll. You score a critical hit automatically if you hit, or if you miss, you still deal half damage. And Bronze Champion at 14th level gives you basically a damage reduction of 4 off of bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage that you take. Myth of the Trickster allows you to treat all one-handed weapons as though they have the finesse property and a d10 weapon damage die. This only functions if you're just wielding the one weapon and in one hand. You get unarmored defense, and you also get Sly Hand of Fate. Whenever you use Hand of Fate, you get an additional action that you must take before the end of your next turn. The action can be used only for dash, disengage, dodge, hide, or to attempt an escape from a grapple or restraint. Alternatively, you can expend your Hand of Fate to take this additional action immediately at any time, even during another creature's turn. At 3rd level, your speed increases by 10 feet while you're wearing light armor or no armor, and you gain proficiency with dexterity saving throws. In addition, you gain a bonus wonder, much like the Hero Paragon gets at 3rd level as well. At 8th level, your speed increases by an additional 10 feet. At 10th level, whenever you use Hand of Fate, the additional action can be used to make a weapon attack or to activate a wonder, and at 14th level, you gain a feature called Autumn Leaves. Whenever you roll initiative, you begin imposing disadvantage on all attack rolls made against you until an attack finally hits you. During this time, whenever a creature misses you with an attack roll, its turn immediately ends. The Myth of the Sovereign starts off with a feature called Majestic Decree, which twice per long rest you can cast an innate spell. Every time you cast, you choose from either Bane, Bless, Command, or Healing Word. Another 1st level feature called Lordly Hand of Fate basically says whenever you use Hand of Fate to get advantage on an initiative check, you and your allies then gain advantage on all attacks and saving throws during the first round of combat. And also at 1st level, you gain 2 languages of choice. At 3rd level, you gain Paragon Companion. This is a major feature of the Sovereign Paragon. There are 3 different stat blocks to choose from. You choose your companion's race, and you follow just these simple guidelines for how the companion will progress. Every time you level up, it gains a hit die as well. There are some companion bonus features you can take optionally that are sort of like minor feats for the companions. The 3 options you can choose from are the Devoted, the Scoundrel, and the Sentinel. At 8th level, you get a feature called Resolute Bond, in which your charisma modifier applies to all saving throws made by your companion. At 10th level, you get a feature called Hand of Majesty, which says whenever you use Hand of Fate, you also can cast one of those innate spells. It's its own instance of that Bless, Bane, Healing Word, or Command, and it's cast at a higher level than just baseline. And at 14th level, you get Transcendent Grace, and once per day, you can kiss somebody's forehead, and it has the same effect as Lesser Restoration, Greater Restoration, or Revivify. Then there's the big section on wonders. Like I said, it's 13 pages of them. I really put a lot into this. I wanted to make the class in depth. This gives the class a lot of replay value. It also gives it something of a learning curve, because not only is it a brand new class, there are all these new things that work kind of like spells or feats or invocations or special powers. So just think of like how it was the first time you ever played a spellcaster. You had to look at a bunch of different spells and decide how you want to build this character, what kinds of things you want to do, what kind of effects do you want to wield, and what's your style. In the end, the Paragon is not as complex as, say, a wizard or a druid, but it's probably in the ballpark of something like a sorcerer or maybe like a ranger. I'll give you a sampling of some wonders. Here's one called Buy Time. Use it right at the start of a combat encounter when everyone's rolling initiative. You're going to make a skill check to try to buy your party some time, maybe even give them a chance to maneuver into positions and take an additional action right away. You can use Deception to try to bluff or misdirect the enemies, you can use Persuasion to try to parlay with them, or you can use Intimidation to try to cause them to hesitate and balk. Some wonders are just for those specific subclasses, like Battle Leader is just for Myth of the Sovereign, where you can command an ally to make an attack, and if it's your Paragon Companion, it also has an additional effect of adding your Charisma modifier to the attack roll. Fell the Foe is for the Myth of the Hero. When you hit with a melee attack or a thrown weapon, you can potentially knock the foe down or out of the air. Or Shadow Flash for the Trickster, which basically gives you an attack of opportunity with ranged weapons against creatures within 30 feet of you. Kismet, Labyrinth Adept, Netcaster, Paragon Healer, Sage of Lore, Satyr's Ploy. I really put a lot of thought and passion into the themes and the mechanics of these different Paragon wonders. There are wonders for all different levels of Paragon, though many of them stay good throughout the entire adventuring career. There are also some wonders noted as epic. This is a new kind of mechanic that I had a lot of fun developing, and in play, I think you'll find it super interesting. Epic wonders have effects that play out across 3 consecutive rounds. You have to spend an action to enter into the epic wonder, and then on your following turn, you have to spend that same action to do the following turn's effect. Then on the third turn, you again spend that same action to accomplish the third turn's effect. You can only have one epic wonder active at a time, and if you don't spend that action to perform the effect, it fizzles out or it just goes away. Here are some epic wonders at just 3rd level. Howl of the Alpha Wolf from Myth of the Sovereign. On the first round, as an action, you shout a battle cry. Each of your allies within 60 feet of you can spend a reaction to move up to their speeds. You move up to your speed and make a melee attack, or 2 if you have extra attack. Your attack has advantage if an ally is within 5 feet of the target. On the second and the third rounds, as an action, you make a melee weapon attack, or 2 if you have extra attack. It has advantage if an ally is within 5 feet of the target. If you hit a large or smaller creature, it has to succeed on a strength saving throw or fall prone. For the duration of the wonder, whenever the target stands up, it provokes an attack of opportunity unless it disengages. Through the Flames. This one's for the Hero Paragon. On the first round, as a bonus action, you regain 1d6 hit points per 2 Paragon levels you have. Second round, as a bonus action, you regain the use of your Hand of Fate. In the third round, as a bonus action, you gain resistance to all damage until the start of your next turn. Or Owl of Night's Lament for the Trickster Paragon. On the first round, as a bonus action, you enter a ghostly state. For the duration of the wonder, when you're in dim light or darkness, you are invisible, your movements make no sound, you have blind sight out to 30 feet. Second round, as a bonus action, you can call out to one creature within 30 feet of you, and the effect is sort of like a command spells effect, where you tell them what to do, and if the target fails a wisdom save, it performs that action on its next turn and does nothing else. And on the third round, as a bonus action, you can fly up to your walking speed. There are all kinds of these wonders. Some of them are epic wonders, some of them aren't. Bolt of the Storm God, Confront the Minotaur, Doomsayer, Giver of Splendid Gifts. One I particularly like is called Wheel of Fate, which you must use during a moment of immediate danger. You roll a d12 to essentially spin the Wheel of Fate, and depending upon which icon it lands on, the skull, the tome, the witch, the tower, the monster, the candle, etc., all kinds of different effects can happen. So I hope you give the Paragon a try. A lot of love and a lot of crafting went into this class, It's something that has an immense amount of versatility and flexibility to it. You could build all kinds of different types of Paragons. It's a class that just keeps giving and really has quite a bit of depth and crunch to it, aside from capturing that essence of a hero of myth, a character who's been fated upon birth for some sort of greatness. A living avatar, an embodiment of essential qualities. And that's just one single chapter in this book. There are other subclasses for core 5e classes, spells, feats, a whole bunch for GMs, traps, advice, and a bestiary of like 170 different monsters. I guess I'm reflecting on quite a bit right now. I wrapped up some major, long, multi-year campaigns not too long ago. I'm getting close to finishing my second book. The 50th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons is coming up. It's sort of this focused, almost hermit-like determination that I'm in right now, contrasted with reflecting back upon these accomplishments, these milestones, these eras that have come and gone, not only for me, but for all of us who share in this incredible experience of fantasy role-playing games and mythic adventures. And an extra special thank you to everyone who is a supporter of mine over on Patreon. You guys give me a lot of motivation. Much appreciation to you. That's what I have for now, my brave companions. Keep your eyes upon the lofty stars above, or if you're in a particularly dark place where you cannot see the stars, do not forget they are waiting for you. They are calling. Until next time, everyone, may your adventures be many.